Food becomes more than just fuel during pregnancy. It becomes foundation. And your role isn't to police her plate. It's to build the environment around her. Because if she's tired, nauseous, overwhelmed, and you're still living off share bags of crisps and whatever's in the fridge, you're not supporting her. You're making it harder. This episode is real, grounded, no fluff advice on how you step up with nutrition without being controlling, without overwhelming her, and without turning your home into a war zone over food. If you've ever asked, what can I actually do to help? This is it. You're not just expecting a baby. You're becoming a father, and there's a difference. Most men don't realise this until it's too late. They wait, they stay quiet, they assume they'll figure it all out when the baby arrives. And then one day, they're exhausted, disconnected, and wondering how they became the passenger in their own family. This series exists to stop that from happening. I'm Aidan, founder of the Modern Fatherhood Club and dad of two. I've lived the mistakes and I've carried the pressure, and I know exactly what it costs when fathers don't prepare. This isn't about being perfect. This is about being present. It's about understanding your role early so you don't spend the next 5 years trying to repair it. Every episode is designed to give you clarity, perspective, and one thing you can actually do right now to show up better for your partner and your child. This series is built for you. It's designed to help you show up from day one and be the dad they need and the partner that she's expecting you to be. No fluff, no lectures, just clear, tactical advice based on real experience. We're going to walk through what's coming physically, emotionally, financially, and mentally. Not just for her, but for you. Because this isn't about being a backup. It's about building a partnership that works under intense pressure. If you're expecting her to carry the baby and the burden, you're already behind. But here's the good news. Being switched on, present and prepared, well, it's a choice. One you get to make today, and one she'll never forget. So let's get you ready to lead, not by force, but by example. Let's build the version of you your partner, your child, and your future self are going to be proud of. Fatherhood isn't a role, it's a responsibility, and it starts now. Okay, let's dive in. During pregnancy, food stops being a casual thing. It becomes part of your partner's energy, her mood, her recovery, her comfort, and your baby's development. And here's the part most dads don't clock. This is the stage where what you eat starts to matter just as much as what she eats. Not because you're pregnant, but because your habits set the tone in your home. And if you want her to stay on track, feel supported, and feel like you're in this with her, you don't do that by talking. You do it by building an environment that she feels safe and comfortable in. Much to my partner's frustration, I eat for fuel, not flavour. But with an Italian wife, learning to knock together a decent pasta dish, well, it's non-negotiable. Complicated cooking though, that stresses me out. So I've learned what works for us. Simple meals, balanced ingredients, and flexibility. Before pregnancy, we'd already tried to eat pretty well. A good balance, meat, fish, veg, with the occasional packet of giant buttons making a guest appearance. But when my partner got pregnant, I realised something. It wasn't just about what she should or shouldn't eat. It was about creating the right food environment together. Now, morning sickness meant some days her favourites were just suddenly off limits. Before pregnancy, it was sushi, and then suddenly it was off the table. No raw fish, then she didn't want hot drinks. And in our house, for her, that was unheard of. And that's where I learned my role. Not to control, not to judge, not to lecture, but to adapt, to remove pressure. And if she needed toast for dinner, hey, we had toast for dinner. The truth of it is, pregnancy appetite changes fast. Energy levels shift, digestion changes, and cravings, well, they come out of nowhere. One day it's fresh fruit, the next it's ice cream and crisps. This isn't about perfection, it's simply about consistency. Eating well gives her body what it needs to support the baby's growth. And it makes a huge difference to how she feels, both physically and mentally. But the reality is, time is limited, energy is limited, and budgets are real. So your job is to help her keep it simple, accessible, and enjoyable. And when she can't, you step in, you cook, you shop, you learn, you just do what's needed. Now this is where I'm going to be clear. The NHS has some brilliant, no-nonsense guidance on what's safe and what she needs to avoid. So I'm going to give you the big headlines here, but my advice is super simple. Always check labels and always check the current guidance on health service websites. Your role isn't to memorize everything, it's to stay informed enough to reduce the risk and the stress. So when we look at cheese and dairy, avoid unpasteurized milk and cheeses like soft blue cheeses, mold-ripened cheeses like brie and camembert, and some goat's cheeses, unless you know they're safe and pasteurized. Stick to the hard cheeses, pasteurized dairy, and check all the labels. When it comes to meat and fish, cold, cured meats like salami and prosciutto carry a risk unless cooked. No rare steaks, meat's got to be well cooked. Raw shellfish, liver and pate, they're out. Smoked fish should be cooked until piping hot. And eggs, only eat eggs that are thoroughly cooked. Unless, if you're here in the UK, they're British Lion stamped. And now caffeine, limit it. 1 or 2 cups of coffee a day might be fine, but check the guidance. Energy drinks, avoid them. Same with the high caffeine fizzy drinks. Hydration, it's simple and it's essential. Water, decaf teas, milk, keep those fluids topped up because dehydration increases fatigue, headaches, and can affect her digestion. Again, check the guidance, stay informed, keep it simple. Now your role is not to turn into the food police. Your role is to support her dietary needs and help her get the nutrients that her and baby need. Now these are the foods to avoid, but there are also plenty of foods that she can enjoy. So do your research. Find simple recipes. Keep the house stocked with what she can eat, not what she can't. And where you can, reduce the unnecessary fatty, salty, high sugar stuff. Not because you're on a diet, but because you're creating an environment that makes those healthy choices easier. Now, when we look at portion size and timing, one thing people don't talk about is as baby grows, well, portion size and meal times matter. This isn't about weight gain. This is about comfort. As pregnancy progresses, there's less space. Heavy meals late at night, well, they can lead to discomfort and indigestion. So think lighter, think earlier, think flexible. Now this stuff sounds small, but it affects her mood, it affects her sleep, it affects energy, and those things, well, they can affect your relationship. So if we're looking at specific actions, here's the practical action for this episode. Try flexible meal planning. Have ideas ready, but be ready to pivot. Pregnancy appetite can change by the hour, so avoid rigid schedules, batch cook where you can, freeze meals, stock easy staples, so you're not stuck when craving shifts or energy dips. If she's not up to cooking, step up. If she's unsure what's safe, read up. If she wants toast 3 nights in a row, just make it, and make it well. Also, make sure she's staying hydrated, plenty of water. Know which drinks to avoid and which help hydration. Your hands-on involvement here, it's going to matter more than you realise. Now here's your one thing to focus on from this episode. Your habits shape the household. What you eat sets the tone. If you're smashing share bags of crisps every night, it's harder for her to stay on track. So lead by example, build new habits together. And I'll say this too. This is a good time to start thinking about your health too. Now I'm not in peak health, but I can get around. I can chase after my boys, I can race them across the park, and I still win. And I can still do the things that dads love to do. And trust me, fatherhood is much easier when you're not running on fumes. In the early days, eating healthier is actually easier because baby is on your time. But once they're at school, doing activities, parties, weekend chaos, that's when things slip and you find yourself chasing your tail. So commit now. Look after her, be flexible, listen, and remember, you're going to play a big part in keeping her and baby healthy. Here's one super simple tip for recipe planning. Use AI. ChatGPT with the right prompt, that's going to give you a week-by-week recipe plan. And then you slide it in front of your partner, let her choose, and then use your supermarket app to get the food delivered or collected. It can be frustrating making a meal that she's not into. But as long as she's getting good nutrients and plenty of water, she and baby are going to get what they need. And look, if time is tight after work, we've tried ready meals delivered to the door. Is it more expensive than cooking from scratch? Still not sure. Is it quick, easy, and a massive time saver? Hell yeah. For me, it gets food into the boys without cooking two separate meals. It's not a long-term fix, but if time is tight and your budget allows it, go for it. Okay, so to recap, recognize the power of nutrition, because nutrition isn't just about pregnancy. It builds the habits that you will carry into parenthood. Do your homework and support her choices. Know the do's and the don'ts. Learn what foods are off limits. Stick to the guidance. And stock the house with what she can eat. Stay flexible and supportive, as her cravings are going to change. Her appetite will change, so be ready to adapt. Encourage balance, and never make her feel bad about what she can or can't eat. Now this is where you stop winging it and start owning it. Not by controlling what she eats, but by being switched on, being present, being adaptable, and creating an environment that supports her. Food then becomes the foundation. And the man who builds the right foundations now, he finds fatherhood easier later. If this episode hit home, that's not by accident. Fatherhood has a way of surfacing the things we've been avoiding. The pressure, the fear, the expectation, identity. The difference between dads who grow into the role and dads who burn out under it is awareness and support. If you want ongoing support, you can join the Modern Fatherhood Club. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe so you don't miss future episodes. And if you're listening on the podcast platforms, follow the show. And if you know another father who would benefit from this conversation, share the episode with him. Because that's how this spreads, one honest conversation at a time. Now, before you go, answer in the comments what part of this episode stood out to you and why. For me, the most important part is this. You play a pivotal role in her health and well-being from the get-go. Recognize your strengths, understand your weaknesses, and where you can, support that nutrition and help her get the nutrients that her and baby need. Step up and deliver. Thank you. And I'll see you in the next episode.